In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Pictures group in the Design tab of the Timesavers add-in. The Pictures group allows you to insert pictures. You can also replace existing pictures on one slide or on multiple slides. You can also add picture placeholders and then insert pictures into those placeholders throughout your presentation. You can also change the cropping and things like that as well. So I'm going to show you how to use all of those features. First of all, I'm going to show you the Replace Pictures feature. This allows you to replace multiple pictures at one time. You can either replace all of them with one picture, or you can replace them with more than one picture if you want to. So I'm going to just show you over here. If I select all of these pictures that I've got over here, and I go to this button over here, I'm just going to show you the options that you've got. You can choose if you want to attempt to replicate the animations. Just be aware that the add-in is not going to be able to replicate the animations perfectly. I have done the best that I can, but I'm not going to be able to make sure that it keeps its place in the timeline. I'm also not going to be able to make sure that it keeps the animations when you've got triggers and so on like that. So just be aware of that it's not going to be perfect. Then over here, you can also have it attempt to replicate the cropping. That's if you have cropped your pictures or if you've stretched your pictures, then if you have this selected, it will attempt to insert the new picture and then replicate the cropping so that it's the same as what your original picture was. You can also choose to have the sequence repeated or not if you're choosing more than one picture to insert. And you can also choose to change the order manually. I'm going to deselect this one for now so you can see the difference between the two, and then I'll also show you the changing order manually later. Okay, so for now I'm not going to have it repeat the sequence. But first, if I am just going to replace with one picture, then repeating the sequence doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to go and click on this button over here. Now I can go and choose the pictures that I want to replace with. So I'm just going to choose one picture for now, and I'm going to replace all of these with one picture. So I'll just choose this one, and you can see that all of them have now changed to that picture. However, if I were to choose more than one picture, because I didn't choose to repeat the sequence, then it will only insert each picture that I choose once. So it's important the order that you select your pictures in, because that's the order that they will be replaced. It didn't matter in the previous example because I was just inserting one picture and they were all being replaced with that same picture. But when you're inserting more than one picture, it does make a difference. Okay, so if you just drag and select, they will be selected in the order from the back to the front of the slide. So whichever pictures are further back on the slide will be selected first, and the ones that are further forward on the slide will be selected last. Okay, so if I do that, then the order will be based, in this case, on the order in which I put them onto the slide, unless I have changed the Z order. But if I want to be more specific about which one I select first and so on, then I can select them in the order that I want them to be selected. So now I've selected the pink, then the purple, then the red, then the turquoise, then the blue. So that's the order in which they will be changed. Okay, so now I'm going to go and click over here. And I'm going to go and select my pictures that I'm going to replace them with. So I'm going to choose this picture and this picture. Now, the order in which I select them in here isn't going to make any difference. In the folder over here, they will be used in the order that they appear in the folder. So because this one is first in the folder, it will be used before this one in the folder. Okay, so if I go and insert over here, you'll see that the first two pictures that I selected were replaced with these two pictures over here. If I chose, so I'm going to select those again, if I chose to repeat the sequence, then if I go and do the exact same thing and I select these two pictures, then you'll see that they will be all the pictures will be replaced in that pattern, repeating the sequence of the pictures that I selected in the folder. Okay, now I can also choose to have more control over the order in which they get inserted, and that I can do by going and selecting this change order manually option. If I do that and I select all my pictures, so it's going to go like that, I'm going to click on here, and then I'm going to go and choose my pictures that I want to add. So I'm going to now use these three pictures. Okay, so I'm going to select that. Now you can see that these have been covered and numbered. So this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's telling me the order in which they're going to be replaced. And here I've been given the pictures that I just selected in the folder, and they are in an order 1, 2, 3. Okay, now because it's going to be in a repeating pattern, that means that the fourth one will have the same picture as number 1. The fifth one will have the same picture as number 2, and so on. Okay, now if I don't want it to be in this order, remember this order is based on the order that was in the folder. I can't change that, but what I can do is I can move these around. If I want that one to be first and this one to be second, I can change it here, and so long as it is somewhere in this block and somewhere in this block, then when the add-in is then replacing the pictures, it will use the correct one first. So I've put the purple one first now, and the pink one second, and the red one third. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this again, and it's going to replace them in the order that I just changed it to. So there's the purple first, then the pink, then the red, and then I repeat the sequence, purple and then pink. Okay, so that's how you use the replace pictures function. So I just want to quickly also show you. I'm going to go and do that, and I'm also going to just make sure that this is not on changing manually. Now, you can also, like I said, attempt to replicate the cropping. So I just want to show you what happens if you have stretched a picture or if you have cropped a picture. So if I go over here and I crop it, then say it looks like that. Okay, now normally if you were to use PowerPoint's normal built-in replacing feature, then it will look like this. When you replace it, it loses the stretch. So that's what it was before I replaced it. This is what it is after I replaced it. Okay, or if it was cropped and you replace it using the same built-in thing, then the cropping isn't going to be exactly as it was before. Before I replaced it, the cropping looked like that. After I replaced it, it looked like that. So if you use PowerPoint's built-in replace picture function, then the stretching and the cropping isn't going to be replicated properly. But I have made the add-in try and replicate it so that it is the same as what you had before. So if I go and show you over here in the design tab, and I'm going to go and replace, and I'm going to just use the white one again. Now you can see this one is still stretched and this one is cropped the same as it was before. So that is what that attempt to replicate the cropping option is for, is to try and keep your cropping and your stretching as they were before you replaced them, before you replace the pictures. Okay, so that's how you use the replace pictures function. The next thing I want to show you is the picture placeholders and replacing the picture placeholders. The picture placeholders allow you to add placeholders throughout your presentation that you can then fill with pictures later on. It's very useful if you're doing things like previews and stuff. And I'll show you an example where I use it in a preview. But first, showing you how to insert picture placeholders. So if you just click on this button, it will just insert a square picture placeholder in the middle of your slide. And you can then resize it and so on if you want to. You also have other sizing options. So the default is square, but you can also choose to insert a letter landscape picture placeholder. You can also choose to insert a portrait letter picture placeholder. You can also choose to insert A4, landscape, or portrait, or you can choose to insert widescreen, or you can choose to insert a boom card size picture placeholder. So you've got different options of size placeholders that you can insert. Okay, so if I have got a few slides on my presentation, I can go and insert my placeholders throughout my presentation, and you can rotate them, you can move them around, you can do whatever you need to with them for how you want it to be in your presentation. So it doesn't have to be so let me just duplicate that quickly. It doesn't have to all be straight and so on. It's the wrong, yeah, I'm doing this one. Okay, and I have another square one there, but I'll have another placeholder on the slide as well. I'll have a wide screen like that, and then here I'm going to have a boom card slide size one, and I will have over here a portrait letter, and I'm going to resize that and make it bigger, and so on. Okay, so once I've got my picture placeholders in my presentation, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and insert pictures into those placeholders. Now, I've got some options over here which are similar to what I had over there. I don't have options for replicating cropping, and I don't have options for replicating animations because there's no cropping or animations on the placeholder that I just inserted. Okay, so those are not available when you're doing this, but you do have the options that you have over here for changing the order manually and for repeating the sequence if you want to. At the moment, those are both deselected, but you can select them if you want to, and then they'll work the same as they did for the replacing pictures. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and select that, and I'm going to go and choose the pictures that I'm going to use. I'm going to use, in this case, some pictures from here, and I will just go and insert those pictures. Okay, so now you can see throughout my presentation, my pictures have been inserted into those placeholders. Now this one has not been replaced with a picture because I didn't select enough pictures to replace all of the placeholders, and I didn't choose to repeat the sequence, which means that it didn't then start at the beginning again. If I had chosen that, this one would have been the blue scissors again. Okay, so you can choose to repeat the sequence if you want to, in which case all of the placeholders will be filled. But if you don't choose to, then only the placeholders will be filled up until all the pictures that you have selected have been used. Okay, you can also choose to change the order manually, just like you could for replacing pictures, and it'll work the same as it did with replacing pictures. So if I choose to change the order manually, then I can go and I can insert my pictures like this. So say I select those, and then this shows up just like it did when I was replacing pictures, and I can go and move these around, and I can make sure that they're in the order that I want them to be in, whatever I want to be in this place. There's the first one, there's the second one, there's the third and the fourth, there's the fifth, and that's the sixth. So that's the order in which they will be replaced in the presentation, and it will always go from the beginning of the presentation to the end of the presentation, and if there's more than one on a slide, it'll go from the back to the front of the slide. Okay, so just so that you're aware of that. That's the order in which they will be replaced. Also, like in this case, I've got 6 pictures or 6 placeholders, but I only have 5 pictures. So if I don't have the repeat sequence option selected, just like in the last example that I did, that last one won't be filled. But what I can do, if there's a particular picture that I want to appear in 2 of these placeholders, what I can do is I can actually just press tab over here, and it will give me a new block. I don't need to put a number in it or anything. I just need to have that block. And then I can make sure if I need this orange one to appear again, but it must be in the last one, then I can do that. And it will then use whatever I've got over here to insert into the placeholders. So if I add extra rows and I add extra pictures to it, it will use those. Okay, so now I'm going to go and press on the replace placeholders. And now you can see that all of them have been replaced, and this last one was also replaced with that extra orange that I put in there. And they've been replaced in the order that I changed the order over here to. Right, now I also want to show you that you have the option of changing the way that they get replaced in terms of their cropping. So at the moment, it's set to crop to fit. If I wanted to rather insert them so they fill completely the space, now it's a bit strange when you've got pictures of scissors, but it might make sense with other types of pictures. So you can change to a different setting. So if I want to have crop to full instead, then when I go and do this, you'll see that on placeholders that were not the same size or shape as the picture, it has now been cropped to fill that placeholder completely. So the same thing with this and this and this. Okay, or you can choose, so I'm going to undo that, you can choose to change it to no crop. And if you have no crop, it means it's going to be stretched to fill those spaces completely. So if I go and click on that, then that is what's going to happen over there. Okay, so these options, if you have no picture selected, when you click on these, it will set the cropping, it will change the cropping setting for when you insert pictures into the placeholders. However, you can also use these as regular buttons if you want to. You can click on and select a picture, and then you can use these to change the cropping like this. So at the moment, this was inserted as no cropping, so it's just been stretched to fill the space. But if I decide I don't want it to look like that, I want it to rather be cropped to fit, if I have this picture selected, when I click on this, it's going to just act as a button and change the cropping to crop to fit instead of changing the setting, you can see that this one still stayed selected. This didn't get selected. It just was clicked as a button. Okay, so I changed the cropping, or I can have it changed to crop to full, in which case it will look like that, or I can change it back to no crop if I want it to be stretched. So these buttons can be used just as buttons to change the cropping of your picture if you have a picture selected, and it can be with any picture that you've inserted. It can be with the picture that you've inserted normally with PowerPoint as well, and if you've cropped it or stretched it or anything, then you can change it with this. Okay, so that is what those are for. Then I also want to show you how to create a template out of an existing presentation that you have. So if you've already got, say for instance, a preview for a product and you want to use that to create a template for other products, then you can do that as well. So let me just show you how to do that. So first of all, here is a preview that I've got for one of my products, and this preview uses the same template as all of the other products in this product line. So what I can do is I can create a template out of this preview by inserting picture placeholders, which I will then insert my pictures into. But first, in order to do it, what I need to do is, instead of just clicking on here and adding a square picture placeholder, I can select a picture that is already there. And then if I have a picture selected and I click on this, it will replace that picture with a picture placeholder, storing that original picture's settings, like its shadow and things like that. Okay, so when I replace this with a picture placeholder, it will keep the formatting of the original picture. And then I can go and I can replace all of the other pictures that I want to also have placeholders, which I will then fill when I create my preview. So I'm replacing all of these, and now when I create my preview, all I need to do is I need to go and click on replace the placeholders, and it will be able to insert into all of those placeholders the pictures that I want to go into there. And it will mean that I can now create a preview in a few seconds, where it would have taken quite a bit longer than that before. So that is something that you can do. You can take an existing preview that you've got and create a template out of it, or an existing product that you've got and create a template out of it by selecting the pictures that you want to replace every time. So the rest of it is just part of my mock-up, but you select the ones that are going to be replaced with your product images and things like that, and then changing those into picture placeholders. Okay. Then also, I have added a new feature over here that allows you to replace tagged pictures. Okay, so this is something that was requested, and it is so that you can replace, so I'm just going to go and delete these quickly, so that you can replace pictures throughout a presentation that are in different places. So say I've got a picture over here, I'm just going to, actually I'm going to delete that as well. So if you want to replace pictures throughout a presentation, now normally if you just go and insert pictures like this, and you have another slide and you've got them in different places. Now in my add-in, I have got the feature that you can replace things in the design tab over here on the multiple slides group. You can replace things on multiple slides with the same object, but that only works if they're in the same place on the slide, okay, if they are matching shapes. So what this replace tagged pictures allows you to do is it allows you to tag pictures so that the add-in knows that they are the same, and when you replace, it will replace all of them that were tagged the same way with the same pictures throughout your presentation, no matter where they are on the slide. Okay, so let me just show you how that works. I'm just going to put that back again. And so what I need to do is, if, like these ones, I inserted using PowerPoint, okay, using the normal insert pictures button on PowerPoint. And so if I try and replace this, you'll see that it brings up a message saying the shape I've selected doesn't have a picture tag. It will only work if I have tagged the shapes, the pictures. So what I can do is I can go and, first of all, create a tag. And then I'm going to go and this doesn't have to be selected when I do that. I can just create a tag. It'll create a new tag, which will then use for all the shapes that I tag after that until I create another new tag. So now I'm going to go and select these, and I'm going to tag the pictures. And then I'm going to go over here, and because these are the same pictures, and if I were to replace those, I would want to replace these ones the same, I'm going to tag these as well without creating a new tag so that they have the same tag. Now I'm going to go and click on one, and I'm going to check the tags. Now you see all of these that I tagged now are shown that they have the same tag. Okay, so if I deselect that, now if I go and select one of these and I click on replace tagged pictures and I select one of these, then all of the pictures that I had tagged are now changed in the exact same way as each other. Okay, so that is what this is for. Now, so you can tag pictures that have been inserted with PowerPoint normally. So if you already have pictures in your presentation, then you can tag them. Also, just be aware that if you take a picture and you duplicate it or you copy and paste it somewhere else in your presentation, so if I take this and I copy it and I make a new slide, so I just delete those, and I paste it somewhere else in the presentation, then it will keep that tag. So once you've tagged a picture, if you are then using that same picture and making copies of it, it will keep the tag. You don't need to keep on tagging it over and over and over again. So long as you copy and paste or you duplicate, then it will keep the tag. You won't have to keep on tagging it. So now if I take this and I go and replace the tag pictures, then you'll see that this one is replaced and all of these ones that were tagged are replaced as well. Okay, but now there is another option. Instead of having to tag the pictures manually, if you use my add-in to insert the pictures. So over here, I have put this button over here for you to insert pictures. If you use my add-in to insert the pictures, they will automatically be tagged when you insert them. So if I take this and I insert a picture over here, okay, then it will already have a tag. So now if I go and click on check tags, you'll see that it already shows that. It doesn't bring up a message saying it doesn't have a tag. Okay, so it already has a tag. And then I can go and copy that one and I can paste it in other places on my presentation, and wherever I need it to be, it will now have that same tag still. So if I check the tags now, all of these have that same tag. So I don't need to go and tag them because they were tagged already when I put them into the presentation. If you want to remove a tag, then you can just select the picture and click on the remove tags option. And then when you check the tags again, you'll see that that one now has no tag. If you go and check the other pictures tags, they still have their tags. It's just this one that I removed the tags for that now no longer has a tag. So you can remove tags. If you don't want to replace all of those pictures, you can remove the tags. You can also then give it a new tag if you want to. So you can create a tag and tag it, and then it will be tagged differently to the other ones. So this one now, if I remove that and I put on a new check over here, then this is the only one that has been tagged. Okay, so you can remove tags if you want to, and you can change the tags if you want to. Okay, also, if you insert a picture, like over here, so now I've inserted a new picture and I want it to have the same tag as this. Now I don't want to go and create a new tag, because if I create a new tag, it'll then have a different tag to this one. So what I can do is, if I know that this picture has a tag, so if I check the tags and I can see, okay, this one has a tag, then what I can do is I can have this one selected and I can select any other pictures that I want to give the same tag to. And I can click on tag pictures. Now, when I click on this one again and I check tags, you'll see that this one also has that same tag. So if you have a picture selected that already has a tag, when you click on tag pictures, all the other pictures will be given that same tag as the one that already has a tag. Okay, so that is tagging the pictures. Then also, if you insert more than one picture when you are inserting pictures with the add-in, then each different picture that you insert will be given its own unique tag. So if I go and insert over here this one and this one and this one and this one, and I click on there, then you can, when I put these over here, if I check the tag for this, you'll see that all of the others do not have the same tag. Okay, then if I check the tag for this one, you'll see that it is the only one that has the same tag. Now, the reason that this does not have the same tag as that is because I inserted it at a different time. So now the add-in doesn't know that this is the same picture as that. So if I want it to be tagged the same, I would need to remove this tag. So I'm just going to go and remove that tag. And then I'm going to go over here and I am going to select both of these and I will tag it. And now if I go over here and I check the tag, I will see that it has the same tag as those ones do. Okay, so now if I go and check this one, you can see it also is the only one with this tag, and this one also is the only one with this tag. If I take this picture and I duplicate it, then if I check this, all of these ones have got the same tag. And if I duplicate this one, all of these ones will also have the same tag as each other, like that. Okay, but pictures that were, even though they were inserted at the same time, pictures that were different to each other will all have their own different tags. Okay, then also, if you insert a different picture, so say for instance, you insert this one over here. Now this is going to have a different tag to that one because it's a different picture that's been inserted. Okay. So now, if I duplicate it, and again, then these ones will have the same tag, and now those ones have the same tag. So if I go and select both of these, and I choose to replace the tagged pictures, then all the ones that have the same tags will be replaced with the same pictures. So I'm going to select these two pictures over here, and I'm going to insert them. And here, the change order manually has been selected. That's why this has happened. So you can also do that here as well. And then if I choose to keep it in that order, then when I do this, all of the ones that had this tag have been replaced with the blue flower, and all the ones that had that tag have been replaced with the white flower. So they will be all replaced with the same picture if they have the same tag. Okay. Next, I want to show you this feature over here. Now this is useful, so let me just undo that. Okay, so this is useful if you are working with, say, product covers or something which you update. Okay, it's not going to be necessary for most pictures, but sometimes you'll have a picture that you update and then you want to be able to put the new version into your presentation. So like if you have a product catalog and you have your product covers that are already inserted on the slide, but now you update the cover. And so you've got the old picture in your presentation, but you've got a new cover in your store, then you might want to be able to update those covers. If you have inserted the picture using my add-in, so using this insert button or using any of these picture inserting buttons, then first of all, they will be tagged just like they were over here. They'll be tagged so that you can use them for replacing tagged pictures, but also they'll be tagged with their file path. It doesn't happen if you just insert it normally with PowerPoint, but if you insert it with my add-in, they'll be tagged with a file path, and that means that if you replace or if you have updated your covers or whatever, and you want to update the picture in your presentation, all you need to do is you can click on the picture and click on the update button, and in this case I didn't do anything different to this picture, so nothing happened. But if I went to my, so let me just go and insert over here, and I take this name and I delete that picture and I give that name to a different picture. So now this picture has the same file path that this one did. Okay, so now if I go and I choose to update this picture, it's going to be changed to that because it has changed to the picture that is in the same place on my computer that the original one came from. So you can go and update pictures in your presentation if you have inserted them using my add-in. So any of these options, if you choose to insert it using this insert pictures button, which will add a tag, it will also store the file path of the original picture. Or if you choose to insert your pictures using the replace placeholders or the replace pictures or the replace tag pictures, all of them will cause the picture that's been inserted to have the file path stored. and that means that you'll then be able to update it if you need to. Okay. Then with this, you can also choose to repeat the sequence if you want to. So if you select a lot of pictures that have different tags and you only choose 2 pictures to insert, then you can choose to have it repeat the sequence, just like we could for the replace pictures option as well. You can also choose to attempt to replicate cropping and attempt to replicate animation as well, just like you can for the replacing pictures. And that is how you use the pictures group in the design tab of the Time Savers add-in. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you. Goodbye.